Hello and welcome back to our lesson today. We're going to continue on with subtraction. We've done subtracting a fraction from a mixed number last lesson, and so today we continue that by subtracting two mixed numbers. There are aspects of this which there are some shortcuts to, and the rest of it follows basically the same line as we've done before. So without further ado, let's see what we can do. Okay, so first, do you want to have a go at these questions, please, for me? Pause now and have a go. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Question 1, 4 minus 1. Hopefully that was nice and easy. That's 3. 7/12 minus 1, 6. So in this regard, 7/12, we have to find an equivalent fraction, which is 2/12. We follow that across, and obviously that is 5/12, as it's just 7 minus 2. Then we've got 4 and 7/12 minus 1 and 1/6. So this is just looking at the fact that we've got both of the questions 1 and 2 combined. So we can do the same thing as before. We take the answers, we do 4 minus 1, which is 3, and then we do 7/12 minus 1/6, which is 5/12. So our total answer is here. And what you'll notice is you can complete the whole numbers, then can complete the fractions. Its best way round is to do it that way, because if you need then to borrow from the whole number to make the fraction big enough to take away, you've already dealt with the entirety of the whole number part of the question first. And then question 4 is 41/12, which is the same as 3 and 5/12. What do you notice about questions 3 and 4? Well, they're the same question because 4 times 12 plus 7 is 55, and 1 times 6 is 1 times 12 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So it's actually essentially the same question. This is just using the proper fractions, and this is using mixed numbers. Okay. So here we go. Let's talk that through one more time. We've got 3 and 3/5 minus 1 and 8/15. So the first thing we look at doing is we can complete the whole number part, and then we can complete the fraction part. And we do it in two parts like that. We have to treat them separately because they follow different rules. So easily enough, we've got 3 minus 1 is 2, and we can do that. And then we've got 3/5 minus 8/15. We have to follow our rules of subtraction and fractions. So we find the same denominator. So 3/5 comes 9/15. We minus the 8/15, and we get 1/15. Then we put the two answers back together again, taking this one, and put them both together, and we get 2 and 1/15. Complete the whole numbers and the fractions independently of each other. So here is the same question again. We can just skip a few steps. We can do now, put that in terms of 15ths. You can see the question there. We can look at it as a bar model if we wanted to. So the first things we can look at is the fact that 3 and 9/15 is the same as 54/15. And then we can take away 23 of them, and we have 31 left. We've two whole ones, and we have one other one. This section here actually shouldn't be shaded at all because we don't have that many. Okay. So here are two questions. Try whichever method you like. Have a go. So let's have a look. We've got 5 and 9/14 minus 3 and 4/14, because we can just times this one by 2 to get there. We do the whole number first. 5 minus 3 is 2. Then we do 9 minus 4, and it gives us 5. So 2 and 5/14. We do the same on the bottom one here. We put it in terms of the same denominator first. You can see that we've got enough here in order to take away 1. So we can just complete it. Or if we were to use the bar model, we've got 15 sixths all in total, and we're taking away 7. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 1 is 7. That gives us that one. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15. That gives us that one. Then we can just cross out 7 of them, and we find we have 2 at 1 and 2 sixths. We could also have done 2 minus 1 is 1, 3 minus 1 is 2. Look, we get exactly the same. Either way, works well. Okay, so here's a few questions for you. Pause now and have a go. Okay, so let's have a look at these answers. So let's do question 1. Let's have a look at question 1 first. All this is actually is you just having a look at the 2 methods, either converting to improper fractions or dealing with the whole numbers first, I think. So which one do you prefer is the only question it's asking there. I think I prefer the top method, but that's me personally. Okay, so number 2, use your preferred method. So it's not telling you to use one or the other. Use whichever one works for you, and then complete. So let's have a look. We've got to times that. So 4 times it by 2 to get to 10. Times the top by 2 is 8. Then we can do 4 minus 2 is 2, and 8 minus 3 is 5. So the answer would be 2 and 5 tenths. Both of those are divisible by 5. So that gets you to a half. Next one, we have to do the same with this one, put it in terms of 8. So that's 1 and 2 eighths, as we're timesing it by 2. Then we can do 3 minus 1 is 2, and 5 minus 2 is 3. Over on this side, we've got 16 and a half minus 5 and a quarter. We've got to put this in terms of quarters first. So it's going to be 2 quarters. Then we take away the 1 quarter. We do 16 minus 5 is 11. 2 quarters minus 1 quarter is 1 quarter. Same with this one. Times this both by 2. Like that. Keep the whole number the same. Then we can take away 5 to get 5. And take away 5 from 10 to get 5. So 5 and 5/12. The interesting thing here is 10 minus 5 and 10 minus 5. That's why it's interesting. Next one over here. A car travels for 15 and a quarter miles. Car B travels for 21 and 5/12 of a mile. How much further does car B go than A? So you're looking at a subtraction of 21 and 5/12 minus 15 and 1 quarter. Well, I want quarters in terms of 12ths, so I've got to times it by 3 to get 12. That means I can put a 3 there. And then I can do 21, minus 15, which is 6. And I can do 5 minus 3, which is 2. Both of those two are divisible by 2, so you get 1/6, which is the same as that. But obviously both those answers are the same. Okay. So from Jake's house to school is 2 1/4 kilometers. From Jake's house to the park, it's 1 5/8 kilometer. How much closer is the park to Jack's house? So school is 2 1/4 kilometers. The park is 1 5/8, and we're trying to find that missing value there. So we're just doing a standard subtraction. Have a go. See what you think. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, the problem is if we convert it to the same denominator, we don't have enough. So what we have to do, and we can do this in one of 2 ways, is that we can use the whole number here to add on to here to make it a full. Now you could change it all into an improper fraction and complete it that way, and that would work. Or you could take one whole number off here, which adds 8 onto the numerator here because it's 8 parts, plus those 2 parts is 10 parts. Then we can take away the 1 5/8. 1 minus 1 is nothing, and 10 minus 5 is 5. So the answer in theory would be 5/8 of a kilometer, like that. And you can see here that they've done it, changing it all to improper fractions, which also works. I like my way because it's quicker and easier, but either way works perfectly fine. So here's another question, another way to show it. 2 and 2 twelfths minus 1 and 2 twelfths. The useful thing about this is that you can literally cross them out as you go. You can just take away 1 whole 1, so take away 1 whole 1, there we go, and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what you're left with is 5/8. So it works either way. Or, like I said, this is the way I did it. Okay, have a think about these ones. See what you can do. Pause now. Okay, let's have a look. So we can put it in terms of tenths. We've got too many tenths here, so you could convert them all to improper fractions to complete it that way. Or let's just do it my way quickly. So I've got 5 and 1/10 minus 3 and 6/10. Well, in that case, if I take away 1 whole, I can add 10 onto the numerator to make that 11. Then I can do 4 minus 3, which is 1. I can do 11 minus 6, which is 5. And that equals 1.5 like that. Either way works. So let's do my way first, and then we'll do their way. Well, first off, change it all into the same denominator. We don't have enough, so we'll take 1 off of there and add 14 on, making this into 18, and then we can complete it. 8 minus 7 is 1, 18 minus 6 is 12. And there we have the answer. Okay. And then you can simplify it. Both can be divided by 2 to get 6/7. And then have a go at these questions. Pause now, see what you can do. Okay, let's have a look. Question 4 to begin with. So Amir and Dora are working out 4 and 1/5 minus 1 and 2/5. Amir says you can't use my method because you can't do 1 minus 2/5. Do you agree with Amir? There's a way around it. Yes, I know that 4 and 1/5 is the same, is equal to 3 and 6/5. So she's actually shown that you can do it. You can then do 6/5 minus 2/5, which is 4/5. And then you can do not 4 minus 1, but that changes then, doesn't it? So the 4 and 1/5 is the same as 3 and 6/5. Then you can complete it minus the 1 to get 2. 6 minus 2 equals 4. And that's the way that one works. Then we've got our questions up here. Let's just move me out of the way almost. So complete the subtraction. So it's the same sort of idea. Times this by 2 and you get tenths like that. We don't have enough. So what we're going to have to do is reduce that by 1 and add 10 on here because that's what the denominator is. Then we can minus 2 to get 1, and 18 minus 9 is 9. Same denominator on this one. So it's 1 and 6/8. We don't have enough. So we're going to reduce the whole number by 1 and add the denominator onto the numerator here because we need that many parts to make 1 whole 1. So that's 13/8. Then we can complete it. 1 and 13 minus 6 is 7. Same on here, times this one by 2 to get to 14ths. We haven't got enough, so we're going to take 1 off of there, add 14 onto this one to get 18. Then we can complete it, and we actually get 7/14. It's the same as a half. So your answer could also be that as well. And then we've got D, times it by 3 to get to 18. So 3/18. 3/18. but that's not enough. So I'm going to have to use one of the whole numbers to add 18 onto here to get to 21. Then I can complete it. 1 minus 1 is nothing, and then 21 minus 7 is 14, both of which are divisible by 2 to get to 7/9. So you could also have 14/18. Dexter is subtracting a fraction. So he's done 5 2/3 minus 3 5/6. He says it equals 2 1/3. We have to times this one out, and that becomes 4/6. And he doesn't have enough. And this is the problem. So he's done, what he's done is looked at the difference between 4 and 5 and said that's 1, rather than thinking in the direction he's got to do it in. Okay, here's a few more questions. Have a go at these, please, for me. Pause now. Okay, let's have a look at the answers. So here are some number cards. Use 2 of the number cards to find the smallest difference. So you're looking at the ones you think are the closest. 2 and 3, that's a good distance apart. These two both have 4 whole ones, and then they're just looking at 5, 6 and a half. And depending on which way round you can do it, so you can do it this way round. That becomes 3, 6. And then you just do 4 minus 4 is nothing. 5 minus 3 is 2, 2, 6. And 2, 6 is the same as 1/3. And then use the 2 number cards that are closest. That gives the difference closest to 2. And this is slightly harder. You kind of have to work through it. But if you, as you work it through, you'll notice that actually 4 and 5, 6 minus 3 and 1/12 actually gives you the answer closest to 2. The other ones either put it too far apart, so further apart than this, or are too close. Then it's got complete the magic square. Each column in each row equal 5 and 7/12. So you're just looking across either and then adding them up to become the 5/12, and you need to think 20th. So you could, the way I would do it is the first thing is put them all as 20th to begin with, and that gives me a much better idea of what then I'm looking at in order, what I need to add on to them. So 2, 4, 5, and you add them together, goes over the 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, goes over the 1, comes back to 7. So it's this way round. And then marathon, we've got a marathon is 26 1/5 of a mile long. Dexter's has around 18 1/10 of a mile. Ava's run 19 3/5 of a mile. How much further has Dexter run than Eva run the Dexter? So we do 19 3/5 minus 18 1/10. First off, we have to times this fraction by 2, top and bottom. Then we know it's 1 5/10, which is the same as 1 1/2. How much further does Ava need to run to complete the marathon? But we take the entire distance. We take away how much Ava has run. And we work out the answer. We don't have enough fifths here. So we use one of the, brilliant. We use one of the whole numbers, add the one whole denominator, which is 5/5, to the 1/5, which is 6/5. Then we can do our takeaway, which ends up being 6 3/5. It's all about practice and using the skills we have. Everyone knows how to subtract numbers. It's just trying to work out. And really, the main trick is taking one of the whole numbers out and adding it to your fraction so that you can complete it. And I think that's the big trick when it comes to subtracting with improper or mixed numbers. If you can get that trick and you can really get that into your head, actually, it's not too bad. Good luck. I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.